Turner is on his way. He had a class that he was teaching. Luckily for them, he let them out early. So he is on his way. We have Attorney Stevenson here tonight to speak with us. And we're all here. This is not going to be a debate. This is open questions, answers, truth, and facts. That's all this is about. Every single board member was invited. The superintendent was invited. David Scatta, Pupil Services, was personally invited. All the principals, assistant principals. Roy Parker is here from the middle school, the assistant principal. He's the only one who has attended, but they were all personally invited. Tonight what we're going to do is, I want to let everybody know, first of all, the representatives, we are going to have a public forum on Common Core. Mr. Feinstein has lost. Thanks to a petition today by the Republicans, they got the 51 signatures they needed to force a public forum on Common Core. So that's going to take place according to one of the senator's office that I talked to today. They're looking at Wednesday or Thursday of next week. And they want to know if we really thought people were going to turn out. Let's pack the place. Make it standing room only.
Now, did you get the same information I did that Friday is still happening though
Friday
at
is still
Fleshman's
happening.
meeting, that we are going to go there and still do the silent protest?
Yes.
At 9:30 in the morning?
Yes.
Okay.
And not everybody probably knows what that is, so.
Yeah,
Hi, Dawn.
basically at the Capitol building, Andy Fleshman and the Education Committee was going to be having private discussions on Common Core. They were not having a public discussion. And the plan was to have everyone gather and go to the Capitol building, be there at 9:30 wearing your red Stop Common Core in Connecticut t-shirts, and just silently sit in the room where he's having his meeting. It's not a protest, verbal, just being quiet so you're not escorted out, obviously. And to just make a statement by physically being there and keep the room packed. We're meeting in the lobby. Do you remember the parking garage? I think it's the main one.
LOB parking garage on the bottom is public parking.
Yeah, right,
And then you can
okay.
take the tunnel through because it's going to be bitterly cold.
Right.
And you want to stay inside as long as possible.
And they should have some extra t-shirts if you weren't there to get any on Saturday.
Right, and if not, just wear red.
Yeah, right, just so it's a contrasting thing.
Yep. You cannot bring signs.
Mhm.
You cannot bring flags. You cannot bring anything along those lines. They will be confiscated.
And you can wear a sticker.
You can wear a sticker and you can wear your red shirts.
But just being there in force and having the display and the support of saying, you know, I know almost everyone that was there, we've written him tons of letters and he's just not receptive. So this is, you know, another way to just show that we are voices and we are united, and it's teachers and parents, and they have to at least acknowledge and move forward from there.
And if there are taxpayers, whether they're a teacher, a parent, or not,
Right,
this affects you too, so
exactly, exactly.
welcome just as well.
Yes, please, all the voices.
We're not activists.
Right, well, and that's a term that's been used, and it's been kind of used in a derogatory manner, that these are just mommy activists that are upset and they're yelling, and I mean, we've heard it all the way from the U.S. Department of Ed when he originally made his statement, and then he backpedaled saying that it was mommies that were upset that little Johnny wasn't going to be as bright as mommies thought he was going to be. But I think they've backpedaled off of that, and they realize that this is a little bit more than that, and the news today has at least been encouraging between NEA, CEA, whatever other group of letters you want to say, but at least they're making forward progress. And the fact that the GOP party was able to gather enough signatures at the 11th hour, literally, to get this done speaks volumes, because they are hearing it. I did get some emails back. I did not get one from Fleshman's. I got one from Carpino's office. I know I've talked to, I'm going to get the names wrong, guys. I'm new here. Gugliotti, the representative out of Saybrook, Maryland. Yes, I got stuff back from her and I spoke to her in person, and then been to different offices and at least voiced the opinion of people. So I think that it's progress, but you have to keep calling, writing, and being very direct that this is not acceptable, both from the teacher standpoint, the evaluation from the kids, from the money as a taxpayer being spent to implement something that is untested, unproven, unscientifically backed. You have to really voice those statements in a very methodical way with them, and the more they hear it, the more they understand it, the more they realize they have to address it. Sorry.
That's
Brian,
okay.
you said-
The other thing that's
Yes,
taking
Brian.
place tomorrow is, there's a group of us going to the Capitol for Ethan's Law. For those of you who aren't familiar with Ethan, he was a young man with special needs in Florida. He wasn't able to communicate, he'd been fed all the time on a feeding tube, and I had been following his story for a few months. The state insisted he be tested, and the mother was fighting the testing. The teacher didn't want to do the testing. They basically said to her, well, as long as he can tell us what an orange tastes like, he can take the test. And she said he's never tasted an orange. He spent his final hours being tested. The teacher who refused to test him is now fighting for her job. So it's not just here in East Haddam. This is national. This is everywhere. You're not alone, and this is not us against them. It's not. The teachers, the parents, the students, we're all one group. We all want the same thing. So it's not this mentality that it's, you know, pitchforks and running through the woods. Well, here maybe, but
Yeah, go yell at the teacher,
right.
it's not the teacher.
It's not the teachers. It's not one-sided. This is everybody working towards a common goal. And a lot of parents feel that they're in it alone. They're not. A lot of kids feel that they have no choice. You have choices. You absolutely do. The superintendent of East Lyme, I don't know if everybody saw this or not, this is another good news for us, wrote a letter to the Commissioner of Education about what it's actually going to do to the teacher evaluations. And what I found really interesting was he broke it down to how many days, school days, that the administration is going to lose by doing teacher evaluations. And what I found really, really interesting is that it was 7 out of 180 days, 70, if I remember right, I think it's 72. 72 are going to be used by his administrators just for teachers' evaluation. That's not what we're paying our administrators to do. They're not to be they're evaluating all day long, more than half the school year, or just about half the school year. Some districts, he said, it's going to be a full 100 days. That's not what they were hired to do. That's not what they should be doing. So it affects the administration, it affects the teachers, it affects the students. And I don't know about you guys, but when you get home at night and you're dealing with a packet, and your kid is going through stress and anxiety, this is not learning, this is testing. My son came to me and he said, I need someone to teach, not to test me. I know how to fill a bubble in. And that's why we're here. And we want you to know that as parents, you have rights. Your child does not have to take this test starting Monday. You have the right to say, no, my child is not a test subject anymore. And the teachers have a right to teach. That is what we are paying them for. They went to school to teach. Our children need to learn life skills. If you look at the Common Core standards, they say that they're making them college ready and job ready. But the colleges are not STEM colleges. They're not selective colleges. They're aiming for community colleges, state universities. Which there's nothing wrong with a community college or a state university.
Lowest common denominator.
Right.
That's it.
But what if a child wants more? What if somebody is capable of more? You're going to dumb them down because they teach to the lowest common denominator. So we need to take a stand. This is the year that we can do this. This is an election year. This is a year that all the pilot testing is coming out. Now is the time to stand up and say, enough. We want our districts back. We want our schools back. We are lucky in East Haddam. We have teachers who have been here forever. They're our neighbors. They're friends with our kids and their kids. We have a very unique situation here. You know, your kid's teacher doesn't go home at 3 o'clock in the day, because if they do, they're coming home next door to you. You go to the pizza house. There's a good possibility you're going to run into them with their family. Your kids may be doing a sleepover at their house. Teachers are not the enemy here. They want to teach. Our kids are spending all their time testing. They've already started preparing for the test.